Lesson 15.
We're professionals. Hey everybody, welcome back to Become a Writer in 30 Days. So in yesterday's lesson, I encouraged you to start your rough draft. And I just wanted to take today's lesson and give everyone some tips and some confidence boosters, hopefully, because I know intimately how scary and difficult it can be to start on a completely new project, especially if it's something that you've never done before ever. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a window into my own writing process and how I do it, because I can't really speak to how other people do it. I will say I've read a lot of memoirs and like biographies and stuff of other writers, and the one thing that everybody says, and I can attest to this too, is just consistency. So doing it maybe not every day. I mean, if you can do it every day, that's awesome, but just sticking with it, having a time and a place and an amount of time that you're like, okay, I know that at 4 p.m. I can go into my office and close the door and set my timer for an hour and write. That is going to give you a really good setup for success, rather than just like trying to do it whenever you can and, prioritizing it lower than everything else. And it's really, really easy, especially when you're first getting started, to let other things get in the way. And so there's a couple of reasons why we do this. One is that obviously we are all really busy. You have a job, you're going to school, like you have kids and a life and friends and like all kinds of stuff that, is pulling your focus away. However, it's really important to make that time, even if it's only like 10 or 20 minutes a day. Because the other thing you're doing is confronting your fear. Whether or not you're aware of it, there is probably some fear in there that's saying, I don't want to write right now. I'm too tired. I'm going to go watch TV. I'm going to go out with my friend. Like, I have to work tonight. I'm going to be too tired. Like, those are valid things. And at the same time, like, you're kind of giving into your fear. Like, you're telling yourself subconsciously, like, my writing isn't worth my time. So what you really want to do is make sure that you're respecting your craft, because this is something that you're creating. You are entering a covenant with your draft, and you're saying, this idea came to me. I'm going to collaborate with this idea and I'm going to complete it. So that is something that I'd really like you to do. Whether it's just in your head or you write it in your journal, make a little contract with your draft and let your draft know that no matter what happens, you are going to complete it. For your writing environments, it's usually good to have it obviously in a quiet space if you can. I know this isn't always a possibility for everyone. So one of the great things about writing is that if you have a laptop or you have a notebook, you can kind of do it anywhere. So you can go to a coffee shop, a library. I've written in my car, outside of my office building before. If you can write at home, if you have like an office, or you can use like the kitchen table or something like that, and you can if you can have some peace and quiet there, that is usually ideal, because it's just right there and you can go ahead and just sit down and do it. It's very convenient. But really, like, at the end of the day, what you want is quiet, and you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up like so that nobody can interrupt you. So if you put your phone on do not disturb, or you tell like your family, I need 45 minutes to myself, and it can be difficult to do that. Like, we don't realize just how, in our society, it's very like we're expected to always have our phones on. Like, we're expected to be available all the time. And writing demands that you take that time and you say, this is my time. This is between me and my draft, and I'm going to respect that. When I was in college, I had a writing instructor who was also a meditation teacher. And she would have us meditate for like 10, 20, sometimes 30 minutes before we wrote. Now, I'm not saying that you need to like sit there like, doing mantras for 30 minutes or something to write. But I will say, if you take a few minutes before you actually put your fingers on the keyboard just to like slow down, calm your thoughts, like get centered. It's actually really helpful because the other thing that it does is it gets you focused, and it sort of takes away some of that fear. I've been writing for many, many years, and I still get nervous sometimes. Like, it's just how it is. Like, we all have that inner critic. We all have that fear that comes up when we try to write. That's like, no, it's not going to be good enough. It's, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be whatever. We just need to remember, taking a few minutes before you actually start writing to remember, like, it doesn't have to look like anything. It can be complete and total trash. In fact, if you write 3 pages of total garbage, that is infinitely more valuable than writing nothing. And it always is going to be. So just remembering that, taking some time, getting centered, and then making sure that you have that space, that quiet, that do not disturb on your phone or on your laptop, that's going to set you up for success. And then the more you can practice that and make that a habit, the easier it's going to be, because each time you do that, each time that you like go through these motions and like sit down and write, you're training yourself to be a writer. So, and if that's what you want, then that's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing, and your draft is going to go really well. So what I want you guys to do right now, if you can, is just take a couple of minutes, take a few deep breaths, and let yourself relax. Let yourself get focused. And if you're able to right now, I'd like you to start or to continue writing your draft. So whether that's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, however long you are able to devote to it at this time, I hope that you'll just do a little bit of writing. But thank you so much for joining us in class today, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next lesson. Bye.